Welcome to another episode of Game Time. We're preparing for the state basketball tournament. So this week we are at Cueva High School and the girls basketball team and head coach Marissa Kogan. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for coming.
The seeding is out. The matchups are out there. Cueva's the number 3 seed. Are you happy with the seed? Is that what you expected to get?
Yeah, I mean, after we won our district, we knew that Farmington had been playing really well, and so they were going to be high up there, and so that really actually kind of bumped us up a little bit, and so we're super grateful for that seeding.
You take on Sandia in a first-round matchup, a team you're familiar with, already
Yes.
beaten a couple times. How do you guys match up, X's and O's out there?
I mean, Sandy is a great basketball team. I honestly think it kind of was the opposite problem for them, where they fell in our district, made them a little bit lower than I think that their skill level is at. But they play man like we do. They like to push the ball like we do. And so they're very similar to us, so I think we just have a little bit more experience.
What kind of year has this been for you and the Bears?
It's been amazing, and our girls have improved so much throughout the season, but coming off of a weird shortened 10-game season to having a normal full year has been awesome. We're super grateful for it, but it's definitely been kind of some new bumps in the road compared to years past.
Looking at the bracket that was just released, how do you size up the bracket, the classification? How's someone going to take down Volcano Vista? They look tough.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, Volcano Vista is a great team. They're undefeated going into the tournament, and we've played them 3 times so far this season. But every time we've learned a lot, and so we're really hoping to get a chance at them again since they're on the other side of the bracket. But we're really happy with where we're at. We get a chance to redeem ourselves against Oregon Mountain, play Hobbs, who we haven't played yet. So, I mean, we're focused on Friday, but we're hoping that we can go make a run at this thing. So,
what do you work on this week between now and your first round game?
We've talked all season about how the most intense team and the most aggressive team is typically the one that comes out on top. And then just a long week of practice, trying to find ways to stay aggressive and get excited so that way we can come ready to play on Friday. I mean, we know a lot about each other, Sandy and us. We've played 3 times so far. So,
how's the health of the team? I have to ask. I see crutches over here. You've played without Jersey Jones. Eva Love left your last game. How's the health of the team?
I mean, one of the things that makes our team so great is how deep we are. Like, we have a bunch of girls that have been playing all year and have a chance to step in and fill somebody's shoes. Everybody knows that that's a possibility, but we definitely have missed Jersey Jones this season, and then we don't know what's going to go on with Eva this week and next couple weeks, but we're hoping what's best for her. But our team's ready to step up and play. You
won a state title as a player twice. Don't want to shortchange you at all. What's your message to the team as far as what it takes to win a state title and to lift that blue trophy at the end of the year?
Kind of like I had said before with the aggressiveness, the first year that I won, we were the 1 seed, and the second year I think we were the 8 seed, and we won both years, and kind of just telling them that when it comes time for March Madness, there's a reason they call it that anything can happen, and so you want to make sure you leave it out on the floor every game.
What's it like preparing for the postseason as a coach?
A little bit different. I mean, our season's been crazy. We've had like 3 games a week every week, and last week and this week are really the first time we've had a bunch of days of practice to get ready, and so that's been a little bit of a change, but the girls have been great and working hard. So.
All right, well, thanks for joining us this
so
week.
much.
Good luck in your first round game. We'll be back with more Game Time after this. The New Mexico Activities Association is excited to announce the NMAA 24/7 mobile app. Whether you're a student, coach, parent, or player, you can have the power of the NMAA right in the palm of your hand. Find scores and schedules, follow your favorite teams, receive special offers from NMAA sponsors, get state championship information, highlights, features, and much more. Download the free NMAA 24/7 mobile app in the App Store or Google Play. Get it now. Are you living the life of an athlete? The New Mexico Activities Association brings you Life of an Athlete, a resource for students, educators, and parents to understand the challenges students face. Athletes, did you know 1 night of drinking will negatively affect your athletic performance for 2 weeks? Or that athletes who drink and do drugs are twice as likely to get injured? Alcohol's effects can reduce a high school athlete's potential by as much as 20 to 30%. Are you living the life of an athlete? Log on to lifeofanathlete.com to find out today. Do you love sports? Do you want a front row seat for exciting high school sports action in New Mexico? If the answer is yes to either of those questions, then becoming an interscholastic sports official may be right for you. The New Mexico Officials Association is looking for individuals age 15 years or older to serve as officials in 10 different sports. No experience is necessary and training is provided. If you're interested, call 505-923-3110. That's 505-923-3110. Or go to the website nmact.org and click on the Officials tab.
Hi, I'm Riley Ottman from La Cueva High School, and welcome back to Game Time.
We've already talked about La Cueva, but what about the other schools in the postseason? Here's a look at some of the other teams hoping to lift the blue trophy at the end of the year. We will start with the girls in Class 1A. Animas earned the #1 seed and will host Springer. Animas only has one senior, Naomi Campbell. They have a little more size than they're used to. Melrose is a 4 seed against Dora. Melrose has played in the final each of the last 5 years. Logan is a 3 seed and will host Evangel Christian Oak Grove. Logan played in the final in 2020, but only one senior on their current roster played a significant role that season, with Kira Conway.
She's our leader right now, and she's doing a great job of leading, and she's the little spark plug that gets them going, so it will definitely have helped her. She's playing with a lot more confidence than she did 2 years ago, so definitely that experience is helping her stay more poised and calm under pressure, and it'll be a big help to have her out there.
Roy Mosquero is the defending state champ and will take on Cliff in the opening round. Fort Sumner is a 2 seed against Amos Valley. In Class 2A, Escalante starts the postseason in the top spot. They will host Cuesta this Friday. Manal is led by longtime Cibola assistant Sharon Max, who also won a state title with Kirtland Central as a player. Manal will host Tatum. Peñasco is the 4 seed against Capitan. Peñasco was in the title game 2 years ago. Head coach Mandy Montoya says she has an interchangeable group.
Well, this is probably the most versatile group I've ever coached. There's not really positions. There's a lot of kids that can do a lot of things, handle the ball, play inside. As far as getting it done, especially our seniors, the 3 seniors, starts off with Martina Tafoya, who is our starting point guard. Can shoot the ball, get into the lane, distributes. Marisela McCauley can play anything on the floor, very versatile. Can shoot the ball. Jenica Kurule, who is a beast on the boards. She's had a couple games where she's had 15, 14 boards. She just gets after it defensively.
Eunice is having a great year and earned the 3 spot. The Cardinals will host defending state champ Pecos. Clayton is the 2 seed and will take on Dulce in the opener. Robertson earned the top spot in Class 3A. The Cardinals only have 1 loss on the year. They'll host Raton. Robertson played in the final last year with a very young team, and they return everyone from that squad. Jaden Jenkins, a senior, leads the team with 17 points and 9 rebounds a game. Alexis Pacheco is a freshman, averaging 13 points a game, and a key role player is Stella Garcia, a senior.
It's shown the whole season. Those young girls were 8th graders last year. I think we had like 6 8th graders playing on the team last year. Jaden was a junior, you know what I mean? And just from that game and that postseason run last year, those games we played, it showed from day one, our first game, to now, the confidence they have, the experience they gained, and just the gelling and the chemistry of playing together.
Navajo Prep is the 2-time defending state champ, but they didn't return many players from that roster. It's a whole new group. Amber Garcia, a senior, and Anaya Johnson, a sophomore, have carried a big load for this team. Last year, Navajo Prep didn't even have a JV program, so some of the current seniors missed out on a whole season. Rainey Crisp is in her 17th year as head coach. She won multiple state titles as a player and coach at Navajo Prep. So which is more fun, winning as a coach or a player?
Almost equally. I loved winning it and celebrating with my teammates on the pit floor, with my coaches, and now I just get so much joy for the last couple of years, just seeing my team success, seeing my players being able to jump around on the court, whether it be at the pit or whatever game it is, just seeing that excitement in them that I had as well as a player, and just to see them experience that as well.
On the other side of the bracket, Santa Fe Indian School is a 3 seed and will face Sandia Prep. Tohatchee is the 2 seed and will take on Cuba. In Class 4A, Kirtland Central earned the #1 seed over defending state champ Gallup. The Lady Broncos will host Miyamura. Kirtland played in the final 2 of the last 3 years, but they haven't won it all since 2012.
It's been a while since Kirtland's put one up in the banners, and I think people are getting anxious for that next one, and we're getting anxious for that next one too, but these people in the community some people just don't realize how hard it really is. You know, you're facing a lot of good teams. You got to beat a lot of good teams to hoist that trophy, you know. But again, I think just if we can get to the state tournament, we give ourselves a chance, you know, and we can't win them all the time. We would love to, as every coach would love to win every championship every year. But we'll just do our best. You know, we're trying to live up to the expectations that these past teams have given us, which is fun too. You know, in our locker room, we have a door that has all the years of the state titles, and we're trying to add to that.
Portales last won it all in 2018. They are the 4 seed and will take on Los Alamos. Portales played a lot of teams in Texas this year. They didn't even face a New Mexico opponent until January, 12 games into the season.
We're not overly physically imposing by any stretch of the imagination. We don't have got two kids with some height, but after that, we're not very big. But they're seasoned. They've played together, probably nearly their whole life, at least from elementary on. And so they read each other very well. Just that experience of playing together, I think, is one of their strengths.
On the other end of the bracket, Bernalillo is the 3 seed. Scoring machine Juliana Aragon averages about 30 a game. The Spartans host Silver. Gallup gets Chaparral. Gallup won it all with a junior-heavy team last year, and now those juniors are seniors. They have 11 players back from last year's squad. Post player Haley Long is averaging over 14 points and 9 rebounds a game. Jordan Joe missed most of the season with an injury. Trinity Wan and Michaela McCurtain contribute in double digits. They have a 6-foot freshman, Riley Whitehair, who comes off the bench. Let's look at the 5A bracket. Volcano Vista is the defending state champ. They played in the final each of the last 2 years. They've only lost 3 games over the last 3 seasons. UNM signees Natalia Chavez and Jalen Bates lead the way. Kennedy Brown is also a big contributor. The number 1 Hawks will host Santa Fe. Farmington was a district runner-up, so they landed a 4 seed against El Dorado and dynamic guard Bella Hines. La Cueva won their district, so they're the 3. Oregon Mountain's Harmony Dominguez averages about 21 points a game. Hobbs is a 2 seed on the other end of the bracket. Hobbs is without their best player, Wisdom Anthony, who suffered a knee injury early in the season. They are young with 6 freshmen and a sophomore. Anaya Joseph is the team's leading scorer in double figures in points and rebounds.
We've been fortunate to play in the last 4 state championships, and we're trying to make it 5. So we're going to do our best to accomplish our goals and get into that last game. And you're pretty successful if you can make it to the last game of the season, you know.
Now on to the boys bracket. Let's start in Class 1A. Magdalena is the defending state champ. They've only lost 2 games in the last 3 seasons. They are 72-2 over the last 3 years. This year's only setback was to Tularosa. Joran Mirabal is averaging over 26 points a game. Magdalena opens with Rama. Melrose has played in the final each of the last 4 years. They'll host Springer. Elida is the 2 seed and will host Cimarron. The Elida boys have never reached the state final. In Class 2A, Tularosa earned the top spot with a 24-2 record. Tularosa is on a 19-game win streak. Tularosa has some returning players from last year, including a 3-headed senior monster, Israel Ortega, the point guard, Travis Henderson, averaging over 20 points a game, and post player Colton Gilliland, who's averaging a double-double. Tularosa will host Mescalero Apache in the opening round. Lordsburg has one of the top scorers in the state, in Quincy Connor, averaging about 27 points a game. Lordsburg head coach DJ Saucedo has been with the program for over 2 decades, the last half as head coach, and he knows what it takes to win at state.
We get to the specifics of sleeping, film, what they eat, when they eat it, curfews, phone use. I've been doing this a long time. I know it just takes a whole lot of things to go correctly for you to win, that they don't just hand out trophies to just because you want them.
Rehoboth Christian is the defending state champ. Head coach Kevin Zweers is in his 19th year at Rehoboth Christian. He says winning it all last year did a lot for the team's confidence and development of the program.
Anytime that I think you win a championship, you get a little bit of a extra bounce in your step. And then also you have an idea of what it takes to get to that level. And so after we won last year, I mean, the guys that were returning, they were immediately back into the gym. They were shooting, they were lifting, and doing a lot of this stuff, and doing a lot of it on their own, you know, and saying, hey, coach, can we get into the gym? Can we get into the gym? And so we saw a bit of a culture shift in some of that when that happened.
Let's look at Class 3A. The Socorro Warriors, led by former Lobo J.J. Griego, are on top of the bracket. Socorro will take on Tucumcari. Sandia Prep was the state runner-up last year. The Sun Devils are a 3 seed this year and host Cottonwood Classical. Last year's state champ Hot Springs is a 10 seed and will travel to Bosque. Robertson had a slow start to the season, losing 5 of their last 9 games. Since then, they're 15-1. Most of the boys on the roster won a football state championship in the fall, including Matthew Gonzalez. He had a career-high 55 points against Estancia and 47 against West Las Vegas.
He's carried us, man. He carried the load in football. Now he's come in here and he's embraced that leadership role, and he's a leader on the floor. He's outspoken. He's a little coach on the floor, and he's my little floor general, man. I can't ask for more.
In Class 4A, the Highland Hornets are in the top spot. Highland has 6'9" Jose Murillo, who passed the 1,000-point mark for his career earlier this season. The Hornets are at their best in transition, moving up and down the floor. Highland will host Miamura. Let's look at the bracket. Albuquerque Academy is playing well right now. The Chargers host Goddard this week. Del Norte is the defending state champ. The Knights won their first ever state title last season. Last year, they had a little more size, so this year, it's a little different style.
The kids were really set on being the first team ever at Del Norte to be able to win it. And so now we're finding out it's a lot harder to get back up there than it was the first time.
Taos is the 2 seed and will take on Hope Christian. The Tigers beat Hope earlier this year in the Husky Invitational. Taos head coach Hernando Chavez is in his 5th year as head coach. The Tigers are tourney-tested. The Taos Tigers played 12 of their first 20 games at a neutral site in a tournament format. They are experienced with 8 seniors, most at the guard position. Their top 2 post players are juniors. Starter Damon Eli, who's 6'7", and Xavier Duke, who is 6'5", off the bench. They haven't reached the final since 1998, but they embrace the word pressure.
We talk about the fact that that's a good word to have around. We want that word around because it means that we're doing some good things. And so, yeah, to a certain extent, we do embrace that pressure, you might say. We feel like, you know, if you wanna be able to compete with some of the best teams in the state, then there's always going to be that pressure involved. And so, really, though, when you break it down, you know, and I know this sounds cliche, but it's day to day. You know, just try to be better today than you were yesterday, and really focusing on the process, not so much the end result.
Last but not least, Class 5A. Unbeaten Las Cruces earned the number 1 seed. The Bulldogs open with Albuquerque High. Former Lobo Greg Brown is making his first tournament appearance against the top dog. Las Cruces has played in the final each of the last 2 years.
You know, we've had 3 years ago, we lost in the first round. We were 28-0. You know, we lost to our district rival, Oñate. And so I just kind of remember, trying to help them remember that things can happen. You know, things can happen. It only takes 1 game. You know, it's not a 7-game series. So just try to keep it realistic, try to keep everything in its perspective, have fun with what it is that we're doing.
Sandia landed a spot in the postseason against Santa Fe. The Matadors have 6'6" senior Sean Johnson, who can affect the game in so many ways.
He can do a lot of things. He's very skilled for a big guy, can handle, shoots it pretty well, very strong. But more than that, like the impact he can have on a game without scoring, for our guys, it's very important. Just like our West Mesa, he only had 4 points, but he played well, and his presence out there like opened some things up for our guys to shoot the ball well, and so that's, our guys feel really good about having him out there.
Hobbs is your 4 seed. They'll host Farmington. Head coach Shelby Reeves has 9 seniors, including Jalen Gore, who set the school record for most 3-pointers in a career.
Everybody see him as a shooter. You know, shoot from a far distance, but he has a full game. He can take you off the dribble. He can pull up on you. When his threes are not going well, he calls plays. He's that captain out there on the floor. So he calls plays, and to get Aaron going, or to get other shooters going, or he'll penetrate and kick out and stuff like that. So he's an all-around player. Great guy, great student. I mean, you just love to have these guys like that on your team.
Back to the bracket. Defending state champ Cleveland will hit the road for a first-round game at Los Lunas. Rio Rancho will host Carlsbad. The Cavemen are young, with only one senior, Derek Sullivan, who comes off the bench. Their leading scorer is Damian Perez, a 6'5" point guard. Carlsbad hasn't won a state title since the 50s.
We talk about trying to hang a banner. I think it was 46, 54, and 55, I believe. I know there's a banner hanging out there. I may be off on the years. But we were in a state championship game a few years back. They lost to Rio Rancho, had the ball at the end of the game, down one, and lost it out of bounds. And so, I think it's there. I think basketball's been building over here in Carlsbad for several years. I think we got some players that want to play. I was in the girls program for 12 years, and we built that where we were very competitive. We got to a high level, and I think boys has been also on that trajectory up. And so I think we got kids who want to play, and hopefully we can get it to where we're competing at the elite level.
The Volcano Vista Hawks are a 2 seed and open with Oregon Mountain. Volcano Vista is senior heavy, with Jaquan Hill and Caden Valdez, among others. Their goal is lifting that blue trophy.
We knew that we have some experience. We've had some tough times in district the last couple years. So it's more focused on fixing some wrongs, righting some wrongs. We've never won Metro before. We check that off of our box. We have struggled in district regular season the last 2 years, and these guys were a part of that. So we ended up being undefeated in district regular season. And now we got one more goal to achieve, and we'll see how that goes.
There you have it. All the brackets, boys and girls, and the action starts this weekend. The girls will play on Friday, the boys on Saturday. All the times can be found on our website. Remember, the quarterfinal games will also be at the home site of the better seed. Tickets can be purchased at gofan.co/NMAA. Good luck to all the teams in the postseason. That's going to do it for this episode of Game Time. We'll see you next time on Game Time.